Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be exciting for every coin collector and treasure hunter out there. We're exploring the top 5 most valuable United Kingdom 1 shilling coins, focusing on different years, mint marks, and conditions that can turn an ordinary coin into a valuable collectible. Many people think all shillings are worth just a few cents, but that's not always true. Some rare examples have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their rarity and condition. Let's get started. First up, the United Kingdom 1 shilling 1954 coin. At first glance, this coin might look ordinary, just another old piece of pocket change. But is it actually rare? And could it be hiding surprising value in today's auction market? In this video, we'll explore its history, features, rarity, and most importantly, its real market value in dollars, especially in circulated or even damaged condition. So stay tuned, because you might already have one of these coins without realizing its true worth. The 1954 1 shilling coin was issued during the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II, marking an important period in British numismatic history. After her coronation in 1953, new coinage began to reflect her portrait, symbolizing a new era for the United Kingdom. The shilling itself was part of the pre-decimal currency system, where 20 shillings made £1. This system remained in use until decimalization in 1971. The 1954 issue was minted in large numbers, over 26 to 30 million coins, making it relatively common in circulation at the time. Because of this high mintage, the coin was widely used in everyday transactions, which is why most surviving examples today are found in circulated condition. What makes the 1954 1 shilling coin interesting is its classic British design and craftsmanship. The coin is made of copper nickel, weighs about 5.6 grams, and has a diameter of roughly 23.5 mm. On the obverse, you'll find the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick. On the reverse, there are actually two different designs, the English version featuring a crowned lion, and the Scottish version showing a lion within a shield. These subtle variations can sometimes attract collectors, especially those trying to complete a full set of British coinage types. Now let's talk about rarity, and this is where many collectors get surprised. Despite being over 70 years old, the 1954 1 shilling is not considered rare. Due to its high mintage and widespread circulation, it's classified as scarce at best, not truly rare. In circulated or damaged condition, the coin loses much of its collectible premium. Scratches, worn details, and discoloration reduce its appeal to serious collectors. Many buyers in the numismatic market are looking for high-grade or uncirculated examples, meaning heavily worn coins often sell for very little. However, there is still mild demand among beginner collectors and history enthusiasts who value the coin for its age and connection to early Elizabeth II coinage. So, how much is this coin actually worth today, in average circulated condition? The 1954 1 shilling typically sells for around 70 cents to $1.40 USD, depending on wear and eye appeal. Even in slightly better condition, the value rarely exceeds a few dollars. Only coins in near-perfect uncirculated condition can command higher prices, sometimes reaching a few dollars or more in niche auctions. This means that if your coin is heavily circulated or damaged, its value is usually close to its basic collector price range, not a hidden fortune, but still a nice collectible piece. If you own a 1954 1 shilling coin, here are some important tips. First, always check the condition. Coins with sharper details and less wear are more valuable. Avoid cleaning your coin, as this can reduce its value significantly. Second, look for variety differences, such as the English or Scottish reverse design. While not extremely valuable, these variations can still be interesting to collectors. Third, consider selling in bulk. Sometimes these coins fetch better prices when sold as part of a collection rather than individually. Finally, keep realistic expectations. This coin is more of a historical collectible than a high-value investment. To sum it all up, the 1954 United Kingdom 1 shilling is a beautiful piece of history from the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. While it may not be rare or highly valuable in circulated condition, it still holds charm and significance for collectors around the world. Its typical value in dollars remains modest, but its historical importance makes it worth keeping, especially for those passionate about British coinage. So before you overlook that old coin in your collection, take a closer look. You might not be holding a fortune, but you're definitely holding a piece of history. Next up, the 1963 United Kingdom 1 shilling. At first glance, this coin may look ordinary, especially in damaged or heavily circulated condition. But many collectors still wonder, could this coin be valuable? Could it sell for big money at auction? In this video, we'll explore its history, design, rarity, collector demand, and most importantly its real market value in dollars, especially when the coin is worn or damaged. The 1963 1 shilling coin was issued during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, a period when the United Kingdom still used the pre-decimal currency system. This system existed before the major monetary change in 1971, when Britain switched to decimal currency. The shilling itself was an important denomination, equal to 12 pence at the time. Millions of these coins were minted in London, with estimates ranging from around 32 million to nearly 49 million coins produced. Because of such high production numbers, the 1963 shilling was widely circulated and commonly used in everyday transactions across the UK. The 1963 1 shilling coin has a classic and elegant design. On the front, you'll find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick, facing right. Surrounding her image is the Latin inscription representing her royal title on the reverse side. There are two main varieties, the English shield with 3 lions and the Scottish shield with a single lion. Both designs include a crown above the shield and the words 1 shilling below. The coin is made of cupronickel, weighs about 5.65 grams, and has a reeded edge. These features make it recognizable, but not necessarily rare, which is important when we talk about value. Now let's address the big question: how rare is this coin, especially in damaged condition, despite being labeled as scarce in some catalogues? The truth is that the 1963 shilling is relatively common due to its very high mintage. When a coin is damaged, meaning it has scratches, corrosion, heavy wear, or even bending, its collector value drops significantly. Most serious collectors prefer coins in higher grades like extremely fine or UN circulated in damaged condition. This coin usually loses most of its collectible appeal and becomes more of a historical keepsake rather than a high-value investment. Let's talk real numbers. What is the 1963 1 shilling worth today? In general, standard market estimates show that circulated coins are worth roughly 70 cents to $2 depending on condition. Lower grade or heavily worn examples often sell at the very bottom of this range. In damaged condition, the value can drop even further, sometimes close to just a few cents or scrap-level value. Even in better grades, these coins rarely reach high auction prices because they are so common. Unlike rare error coins or low mintage issues, the 1963 shilling does not typically achieve significant premiums, so if you are hoping for a hidden treasure worth thousands, this particular coin, especially damaged, is unlikely to deliver that. If you have a 1963 1 shilling, here are some smart tips. First, always check the condition carefully. Coins with less wear, clear details, and no damage are always more valuable. Second, look for unusual features such as minting errors, off-center strikes, or die cracks. These can increase value significantly. Third, avoid cleaning your coin. Cleaning can reduce value even more, especially for older coins. And finally, consider collecting for enjoyment rather than profit. Coins like this are great for beginners building a collection of British pre-decimal currency. To sum it all up, the 1963 United Kingdom 1 shilling is a beautiful piece of history, but it is not a rare coin, especially in damaged condition. With millions produced and many still surviving today, its market value remains low, typically under a few dollars. However, its historical significance and classic design still make it a meaningful collectible. Sometimes, the real value of a coin isn't in dollars but in the story it carries from the past. Next up, the United Kingdom 1 shilling from 1957, specifically in circulated condition. While it may appear to be just another old silver-colored coin at first glance, this shilling carries decades of history, monarchic legacy, and collector interest. In this video, we will explore its background, design features, rarity, condition value in today's market, and whether it deserves a place in your collection. The 1957 1 shilling belongs to the final decades of the pre-decimal British currency system, which remained in use until 1971. 1 shilling represented 12 pence, and it was a widely used denomination in everyday transactions across the United Kingdom. The coin was issued under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, who had recently ascended to the throne in 1952. By 1957, Britain was transitioning into a post-war economic recovery period, and coinage production was becoming more standardized and efficient. This shilling is part of the long-standing florin and shilling system that dates back centuries in British monetary history. It was struck at a time when silver content in circulating coins had already been reduced, marking the shift away from precious metal coinage toward more cost-effective alloys. The 1957 1 shilling features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, designed by Mary Gillick. This youthful portrait of the Queen is one of the most iconic early depictions of her reign, showing her without a crown and with a simple, elegant laurel designed on the reverse. The coin displays a crowned lion standing above the royal shield, symbolizing strength and monarchy. The design is surrounded by decorative elements and inscriptions indicating its value and country of origin. The coin was struck in a cupronickel alloy rather than silver, which gives it a more muted grey appearance compared to earlier sterling silver shillings. Its diameter is approximately 23.6 millimeters, making it easy to recognize among other pre-decimal coins. The 1957 shilling is not considered rare in terms of mintage. In fact, it was produced in relatively large numbers for circulation. However, its collector appeal depends heavily on condition, eye appeal, and historical interest. In circulated or damaged condition, the coin is extremely common. Millions were used in everyday commerce, and many survived in worn states after decimalization when pre-1971 coins were withdrawn. As a result, heavily circulated examples do not carry significant numismatic scarcity. That said, collectors still seek these coins as part of complete Queen Elizabeth II shilling sets. Even worn examples hold educational and historical value, especially for those building type collections or studying British pre-decimal currency. In today's coin market, the 1957 UK 1 shilling in circulated condition typically holds a modest value. Most worn examples trade in the range of approximately 50 cents to $3. Depending on where level and dealer pricing, the coin is slightly better preserved, showing clearer details and minimal damage. It may reach around $5 to $10 in some collector markets or online auctions. However, it is important to note that it does not command high premiums unless it is in uncirculated or proof-like condition. Exceptional mint state examples can be worth more, but even then, values generally remain modest compared to rare British silver coins from earlier eras. If you are collecting the 1957 1 shilling, focus on condition and consistency rather than rarity. Try to find examples with clear date visibility and minimal surface damage. Avoid coins with heavy corrosion, bends, or deep scratches, as these significantly reduce collector interest. It is also helpful to build a full chronological set of Queen Elizabeth II shillings, as this adds educational value and long-term appeal to your collection. Storing coins in protective holders or albums will preserve their condition and help maintain their modest market value. Finally, always compare prices from reputable dealers and auction sites before buying, as circulated examples are widely available and should remain affordable. The United Kingdom 1 shilling 1957 may not be a rare or high-value coin in circulated condition, but it remains an important piece of British numismatic history. It represents the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II and the final decades of Britain's pre-decimal currency system. While its market value in worn condition is low, its historical significance and role in everyday life during the 1950s make it a meaningful collectible. For beginners and experienced collectors alike, it serves as an accessible entry point into the fascinating world of British coins. Next up, the United Kingdom 1 shilling from 1953, specifically in dirty or heavily circulated condition. At first glance, a worn or dirty coin might not seem valuable, but in the world of coin collecting, even imperfect pieces can carry surprising stories and, sometimes, real market value. So, could a 1953 shilling sitting unnoticed in a collection still be worth something today? Let's explore. The 1953 1 shilling coin holds special historical importance because it was minted during the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II. In fact, 1953 marked the year of her coronation, making coins from this year particularly meaningful to collectors. The coin was part of the pre-decimal British currency system, where 1 shilling equaled 12 pence. These coins were widely circulated across the United Kingdom and other parts of the British Commonwealth. The 1953 issue was produced in large numbers, primarily for everyday use, which means many examples survived, but most of them show heavy wear today. The 1953 shilling features the first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, designed by Mary Gillick. This youthful portrait is distinct because it shows the Queen without a crown, a design choice that sets it apart from later issues. On the reverse side, you'll find the English shield design, a crowned lion standing over a royal shield representing strength and tradition. The coin is made of cupronickel, giving it a silvery appearance when new, although in dirty or circulated condition, it often appears dull, darkened, or even stained. Despite wear, key details like the portrait outline and shield shape can still be identified, which is important for collectors. Now, let's talk about rarity. In general, the 1953 1 shilling is not considered rare because millions were minted. However, condition plays a huge role in determining value. Coins in uncirculated or mint condition are far more desirable and command higher prices. That said, even dirty or damaged coins can still attract collectors, especially beginners or those completing date sets. A 1953 shilling in poor condition isn't rare, but it still holds historical significance, which keeps a baseline level of demand in the market. Some collectors also appreciate real circulation history, meaning coins that clearly show signs of use over decades. So, what is a dirty 1953 1 shilling actually worth today? In most cases, heavily circulated or dirty examples sell for around 50 cents to $2. If the coin is extremely worn, scratched, or corroded, its value may drop closer to face value equivalent or even just bulk metal value. However, if the coin is only moderately dirty but still shows decent detail, it could fetch $2 to $5 in online auctions or coin markets. Exceptional cases where a dirty coin still retains strong detail might go slightly higher, but generally, this is an affordable collector's item rather than a high-value rarity. If you own a 1953 shilling in dirty condition, there are a few important tips to keep in mind. First, avoid aggressively cleaning the coin, as this can actually reduce its value. Collectors prefer natural wear over artificial shine. Second, examine the coin carefully for details like clear dates, readable inscriptions, and visible design features, as these can improve its appeal. Third, consider storing the coin in a protective holder to prevent further damage. Lastly, if you're building a collection, a worn 1953 shilling can still be a great placeholder until you find a higher grade example. In conclusion, the United Kingdom 1 shilling from 1953 may not be a rare treasure in dirty condition, but it remains a meaningful piece of history tied to Queen Elizabeth II's coronation era. While its market value in dollars is relatively modest, its historical charm and accessibility make it a favorite among beginner collectors. Sometimes, the real value of a coin isn't just in its price but in the story it carries through time. Next up, the United Kingdom 1 shilling from 1955, specifically in circulated condition. While this coin may look ordinary at first glance, it holds a fascinating story and a unique place in the numismatic world. Many collectors overlook circulated coins, but even worn examples can carry historical charm and, in some cases, surprising value. So, is the 1955 1 shilling just pocket change, or could it be worth more than you think? Let's find out. The 1955 1 shilling was minted during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, early in her historic rule that began in 1952. This coin belongs to the pre-decimal British currency system, where 20 shillings made up £1. During the mid-1950s, Britain was rebuilding after World War II, and coins like this were widely used in everyday transactions. The Royal Mint produced millions of these coins to support the economy, making them a familiar sight in the pockets of ordinary citizens. Although the mintage was high, the historical context adds depth and meaning to each surviving piece today. The 1955 shilling features the first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick. This youthful portrait is highly recognizable, showing the Queen uncrowned with a simple and elegant style. On the reverse side, you'll find a beautifully detailed English lion standing atop a crown, symbolizing strength and authority. The coin is made from cupro-nickel, giving it a silvery appearance, although circulated examples often appear dull due to wear and oxidation. Its diameter is about 23.5 millimeters, and it has a reeded edge, which help prevent clipping and counterfeiting. Now, let's talk about rarity. In circulated condition, the 1955 1 shilling is generally not considered rare. Millions were minted, and many have survived over the decades. However, condition plays a crucial role in determining collector interest. Heavily worn or damaged coins tend to have lower demand, but moderately circulated pieces with clear details still attract beginner collectors. Interestingly, collectors who focus on complete date sets often seek even common years like 1955, which keeps a steady, if modest, demand in the market. So while it's not a rare treasure, it still has a place in many collections. When it comes to auction and market value, circulated 1955 1 shillings are relatively affordable. In average circulated condition, these coins typically sell for around 50 cents to $2. If the coin is in better circulated condition, sometimes described as extremely fine, it might fetch between $3 to $8. However, heavily damaged or very worn examples may only be worth their metal value or slightly above. It's important to note that prices can vary depending on the marketplace, buyer interest, and overall eye appeal of the coin. If you're interested in collecting the 1955 1 shilling, there are a few practical tips to keep in mind. First, Always examine the coin's condition closely. Details like the queen's hair and the lion's features can indicate the level of wear. Second, avoid cleaning the coin, as this can significantly reduce its value. Third, consider building a complete set of shillings from different years, which can be more rewarding than collecting individual pieces. Finally, purchase from reputable dealers or platforms to ensure authenticity and fair pricing. In conclusion, the United Kingdom 1 shilling 1955 in circulated condition may not be a rare or highly valuable coin, but it carries undeniable historical significance and collectible appeal. Its connection to early Queen Elizabeth II coinage and post-war Britain makes it a meaningful piece for collectors of all levels. While its market value in dollars remains modest, its true worth lies in its story and place in history. So next time you come across one of these coins, take a closer look. You might just be holding a small piece of the past. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more rare coin stories and discoveries. Drop a comment below if you have this coin in your collection or if you'd like us to review another one. See you in the next video.